Guys, it's finally here. Matt's finally dropped his deck profile. I'm super excited. Of course, as always, I'm going to have the link to Matt's channel in the description. Please go check out this video and, his profile. He is an amazing Dark Magician player. Go check him out. I'm also going to have Dale and Michael and Ryan's deck profiles all down there in the description. Please go and check them out, guys. If you want to get better at Dark Magician, I can't think of a better way than to watch all of us. We actually all collaborate a lot in a group chat, and while we don't necessarily play the deck the exact same way, we do discuss our ideas all together, and we do come to pretty much similar conclusions. So what I'm trying to say is, if you like my content, congratulations. You should automatically go and like all these guys' content. Now, with all that out of the way, we have another matter. Y'all aren't hitting the subscribe button, so please do that. I just realized this video is 3 hours. How am I going to watch this? Alright, I'm just gonna cut all the deck parts out for you guys so you can just watch that, and I'll roast that, and then you guys can watch the video in your own time. This is an amazing video. I'm definitely gonna watch the entire thing today. I'm probably just gonna hop in bed and put it on, not gonna lie. It's gonna be a good one.
You know what's coming? 2 copies of Dark Magician.
Yep.
Yes, 2 copies of Dark Magician. If you play 3 copies, or if you insist on playing 3 copies, or if you want to play 3 copies, stop watching this video. Or, like, just don't, okay? Don't play 3 copies of Dark Magician. And I found that the red eyes I had from Joey's starter deck was actually first edition, so I'm like, alright, I'm definitely nabbing this and taking this back home with me so that I can play it in my Dark Magician deck, because, yeah, it's just super cool. This is like...
Alright, so he's got the standard brick lineup.
Amazing. First of all, it's a free special summon, right? So her ability says, or her effect says, you can special summon this card from hand, but
I like the one apprentice.
Right?
It's good.
So that means that it does not start a chain. So this is a summon that does not start a special summon that does not start a chain. So you can simply pop her down, and they can't negate it unless they have like obviously a solemn warning or solemn.
That's the best thing in Master Duel. You flop it out, and then people max see you after, and you're just like, I'm gonna normal rod from it. I don't have any more specials. Good job, bro.
So yeah, and then her second effect, so she's a free body on the field, and her other effect, obviously when she hits the field, she can activate her effect, search Dark Magician from your deck to your hand, which you don't necessarily want, but it helps replace the card that you discarded.
Yeah.
And also, she's sort of like a battle hand trap in that her other effect is if she's in your hand or on the field during the battle phase, and like one of your Dark Spellcasters monsters is battling, so Dark Spellcaster monsters like most of your deck, Dragoon, etc. You can at the start before damage calculation, you can send her to the graveyard to increase the attack of that monster by 2,000, right? So Dragoon becomes 5,000 or 6,000 with negate. Dark Magician becomes 45, right? So she's really useful.
Very
good. Especially now that she's super searchable, not only off of Soul Servant, but also off the new Illusion of Chaos monster. And then Dragoon comes out, but Dragoon's skill drained, right? And then because they're a B Trooper deck, cards are a little better at getting into Dragoon, like they're a 1-card Dragoon engine. But I still feel like a lot of times just Dragoon on your field isn't necessarily enough, and Rod makes it so that you have a higher chance of having more interruptions than just Dragoon. Like not only does he start you Dark Magician spell traps, but like he can be recycled back to your hand to not only like enable future plays like follow-up plays with more Dark Magician cards, but also he can help you chain block, and he can like refill your hand for Dragoon to discard for negates, right? So Magician's Rod is still the best normal summon.
Oh yeah.
I'm not opposed to dropping Rod down to 2 if you want to try running other normal summons like Diviner of the Herald or Gearsu. The only other normal summon that like is to me is Diviner of the Herald, because Diviner of the Herald can enable more plays than simply going into Dragoon with like other interruptions. So yeah, maybe I'll try that one day. I'll drop the Rod down to 2 and put in 1 Diviner of the Herald, or maybe 2. But right now, I think 3 Rod is still a great ratio. If you want to drop to 2, that's fine, as long as you replace that 3rd Rod with like another normal summon option. But yeah, you want to see this card like as much as possible.
Rod good.
That's where we're at 3. Alright, next easy 3 of that no one's going to argue with. We have 3 Magician Souls.
Yep.
Yes, these are the ultra rare. For the last 3 monsters, we are running 2 Illusion of Chaos and 1 Saravis.
Beautiful.
The Ancient and Ascended.
I'm pretty sure these are Starlights.
So very important here. Oh, by the way, these babies are Starlights.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Look at them.
Starlight rare, baby.
Woo.
Anyway.
Sheesh.
So this card is the best.
I'm gonna skip the talk about it because I'm gonna watch it later, and like.
Yeah, the first.
I'm gonna skip him talking about the rituals because like, we already know why they're good. But yeah, you guys can check out his explanation when you watch it. Anyway.
3 spells I'm gonna showcase. Preparation of Rites. Mandatory 3 of. Mandatory 3 of. Mandatory 3 of. This card is amazing. It's so good.
Yes.
This card, and the reason we run 3 preps and 2 Illusion Chaos, this card is hard once per turn. This card is not. If you open all 3 Preparation of Rites in your opening hand, all 3 of them can do something. If you open, like let's say you had a 3rd Illusion Chaos, if you open a 3 Illusion Chaos, only 1 of them can do something, right? Like. It's so good to have Preparation of Rites, and when you have a ratio like this of 5, this is what I'm saying. Like if you do a probability calculation, more often than not, you will see at least 1 of these in your per game. More often than not, right? I'm not saying it's impossible that you'll see none, but like with 5 cards like this in this ratio, you will likely see 1 of these. So
it's facts. It's just facts.
It tries to activate its effect to return to the field. You chain Call by the Grave, banish the Scythe, and you do not get Scythe locked. If you play Red Eyes Fusion, they Actually,
Upstar, mandatory card in this deck. Call by the Grave, mandatory card. Yes, I'm looking at you, Asher. Call by the Grave is that good because if you open it with Ref, hello, you win. Congrats. Not necessarily you win, but you have a much easier time. Not to mention,
Call by
Call
the Grave.
by is
If
just
you use
good.
Anaconda, they veil you. Call by the Grave. Obviously, does not stop Valor. Sorry, it does stop Valor. Does not stop Imperm. So, but yeah, mandatory. One of Upstart Goblin. Oh, Upstart Goblin. One of the my favorite, most underrated, and arguably one of the best cards in the Dark Magician deck. This card.
I hope this card can come back to 2 or 3 in TCG. Like, using it in Master Duel feels unreal at 3, and I really crave this card for DM, because we can't play a pot card, guys. I don't know about you, but all the pot cards suck in this deck. Not to mention, Allure, like, Allure is okay, but I'd rather just do the 1-for-1 with Soul Server. It's so much easier, so much more straightforward. I love it. Beautiful.
You
What
summon out
else,
your boss
Peach?
monster. The strongest monster in your deck lands on the field. And then this card, because it's a spell, can only be stopped, hand traps wise, by Ash Blossom.
Yep.
Whereas Anaconda can be stopped, like if you go Anaconda route to send Red Eyes Fusion, can be stopped by Valor, can be stopped by Imperm, can be stopped by Gamma. Technically, if they Ghost Ogre, like Rod for example, like let's say you summon
Yeah.
Rod activated spec and they Ghost Ogre you, Rod gets destroyed.
Yeah, see, whenever, like, I mentioned Ghost Ogre can stop Anaconda, people are like, no, but you send it to the graveyard and it still resolves. It's like, they wouldn't Ghost Ogre the Anaconda, bro. They're gonna Ghost Ogre the Magician's Rod, or, you know, your way to get to the Anaconda. In a way, Ghost Ogre can most definitely disrupt your way to summoning Dragoon. And because, like, the reason Matt's mentioning Ghost Ogre is because everyone's playing it right now as well, okay? It's becoming a very popular hand trap to deal with the Brave token engine, or Adventure token, whatever you want to call it. It's good for dealing with Sword Soul garbage too, so it's just overall a pretty good card to play right now. Not to mention E-Telly's at 3. Why not have an extender? Why not have Hulk plays? Sounds good to me.
And you don't have that second body to go into Anaconda, you need an extender, right? Like this card right
Yeah.
here will get you to Red Eyes Black Dragon, no questions asked. And if you draw Call by the Grave with this, it will definitely get through. Now, let's say you're going second, right? Some people say, well, if you run more than one of these, it's a brick. What if you summon Dragoon with one and then the other two, you just draw them, right? I have a few things I can say to that. One,
Yep.
these can be discard fodder for Dragoon.
This card wins me so many games playing second. Like, it's crazy because, you know, people activate Judgment or something in response to this, and you just play another one. Like, it's that good. You just win.
Second of all, these can be discard fodder for souls, right? Remember,
Yep.
souls send spell traps to the graveyard to draw cards. These are spells. Send them to the graveyard, draw cards, right?
Exactly.
Hey, remember that card that I just talked about that was new, Illusion of Chaos, that can unbreak your hand?
Heck, put it
Activate
back
this
in.
card, search a card, and then put this back in your deck if you don't want it. Like, very simple. Like, you're not going to brick by having more than one of these. So for the sake of argument, you open all three of these in your opening hand. Okay? So let's move these aside. You have these three in your opening hand, you have two more cards. You're going second, or you have two more cards. Their board consists of, let's say, the Brave, the Adventure token, and let's say Barone the Flirt, right? Okay. Activate Red Eyes Fusion. Brave, Barone the Flirt negates. Okay? That's in the graveyard. Activate Red Eyes Fusion. Their Griffin Rider, whatever, bounces his soul back to his hand, negates. Okay, cool. Activate Red Eyes Fusion. They're out of negates, you summon Dragoon. Like,
And then you win.
so this card can only be activated once per turn, but if its activation gets negated by like an Omni Negate, you can just play another one, right? Like, even like let's say you're against an Eldritch deck, right? You have these three in your hand. Activate Red Eyes Fusion. Solemn Judgment. They paid half their life points. They're at 4,000 now. Okay.
Yep.
Activate Red Eyes Fusion. Solemn Judgment. Okay, they're at 2,000 life points now. Activate Red Eyes Fusion. Like you see how like it's not bad, especially going second to have more than one in your hand. It really isn't. Like,
Yeah.
most of the time,
It's great.
like if you have two in your hand, they'll negate the first one, but they won't have something to negate the second one. Like it's I don't know. Like I like even when I was a total noob at Dark Magician, right? When I was first starting out, I came back into Yu-Gi-Oh in 2021. I had no idea what I was doing. Even I knew once I heard that Dragoon is a monster that exists. Why would you ever not run 3 copies of Red Eyes?
Yep.
It's so good. Like if this was a Drytron deck or like some other deck that where Dragoon is not the main boss monster, and you want to combo off, put a bunch of other stuff monsters on the field, and then go to Anaconda and Dragoon. Sure, maybe you want to put one or even two, but like this is your boss monster, right? This is a one card. Get me my boss monster play that can only be hand trapped by one card, which is Ash Blossom. Like,
See, and the argument a lot of people make is they're like, I want to combo. Ref doesn't let me combo. Bro, what the hell are you trying to do? Like, if you're not trying to divine a combo, that's the only combo you should be trying to do. Dark Magician doesn't combo, guys. We summon Rod, we summon Souls, and we make Anaconda. That's not a freaking combo. That's 2 cards going into one, making a big boy. It's really not that special. There's really not a lot you can do with the pure Dark Magician deck besides just make Anaconda. So I'm not sure why these people insist that they need their room to combo and they want to play extenders and blah blah blah. Instead of Ref, like, just play Ref at 3, bro. It's just a better card. One of the best opening boards you can make with this deck is like activate Ref, summon Dragoon, put up Village, and one set card, and then just keep one card in hand or set one more card. That's your best opener with this deck. Not a lot of things will play around that. A Kaiju, but going game one, you kind of expect Kaijus to not be in the main unless you're versing like Grand Marju or something. So you actually have a very high chance of just winning then and there, because with Village up, what do you lose to normally with Dragoon? Dark Ruler, Droplet, Triple Tactics Talents, like all of those are just thrown out the window. You don't even have to worry about them. And Lightning Storm normally and Duster normally like out the Dark Magician cards, so Village is dealing with them as well. So you're just in this, you know, if you establish Dragoon Village, one back row and like one card in hand, that's 4 cards and you've just won. And Ref gets you to one of those things. And it's pretty oppressive. So yeah, please play your refs at least 2, guys. I see people play it at 1 and I'm like, come on. As soon as they bump it up to 2, they've said, LOZA, I didn't want to play ref at 3. I started playing it at 2. It's so much better. Thank you. I'm like, you're welcome. Like, you don't have to play 3. I'm not putting a gun to your head and saying, hey, you got to play 3. Just play 2 if you are skeptical of 3, or if you hate 3, just play 2. Because if you do happen to open 1, well, then you can't do the Anaconda line of play that you'd probably want to do, and you're forced to play the ref from your hand. And that's, you don't want to be forced into a scenario, right? You want to look at your hand and see the options. If you see ref in your hand, it's your only ref, where you're like, well, that's my only way to Dragoon. Anyway, let's let Matt keep talking.
More fusions.
Yay!
So I run a single
Magicalized.
copy of Magicalized Fusion and a single copy of Secret's Dark Magic. Magicalized Fusion helps you get your second Dragoon. It can also get you Quintet Magician, which is
This is the part where he convinces me to play Secrets. I bet.
and then Secret's Dark Magic. So this is a fusion card. It can also be used for Ritual Summon. You can technically Ritual Summon the Illusion Chaos. You seldom would. This is mostly used for fusions. It's a quick play. So, you know, this card can kind of take some, you know, bricky or questionable hands and make them good. Like, yeah, by itself, this is a brick.
It's
This does
true.
nothing by itself, but if this is in a hand
It's
with
true.
another brick or card that doesn't really do much by itself, this can potentially unbrick your hand. Also, this has great OTK potential, because if you're, like, on your turn and you're in battle phase, because this is a quick play fusion spell, you can bring out more monsters in the battle phase to do more damage. So think of this as like your El Shadal fusion, right? We're doing a Shadal comparison. This is El Shadal fusion, and
Yep.
this is Shadal fusion. As a quick reminder, how many
It
Shadal
just
fusions
works.
do Shadal players run?
It
One?
just works.
No, they run 3. And they run fewer El Shadal fusions, because Shadal fusion better than El Shadal fusion. Red Ice fusion better than Secret's Dark Magic.
Yep.
Also,
Facts.
so those are all fusion spells, but
Straight facts.
Starting with Secrets, we're now in the territory of cards that can be searched by Soul Servant or Magician's Rod. So Secrets is one of them. We have Dark Magical Circle, 1.
Beautiful.
3, Soul Servant, 1, Magician's Navigation. So this is your
Cool.
spell lineup for searches off Magician's Rod and or Soul Servant. Soul Servant does not search other Soul Servants. That'd be silly. But Rod can grab these 3, and these 3 can search these 2. You only want 1 Dark Magical Circle. 2 is acceptable, I suppose. You can make do with 2. 2 is okay.
2's
but never,
fine.
ever run 3. Same
Yeah,
argument as Dark
you-
Magician.
you
This
don't
card
need
is way too
3.
bricky for you to run 3 of. Like, you don't want to see more than one of these in your hand. And since it's searchable, why do you really need more than one? Like, let's be real here. All right.
Yeah.
And then Magician's Salvation is
Guys, we have a lot of searching that we can do. Like, you really just don't need freaking more than 2 circle, alright? We got Illusion of Chaos, we got Rod, we got Soul Servant, like,
similar argument to Dark Magical Circle. It's just like it's searchable. Why would you ever really need more than one of these, right? If
Yep.
you have more than one of these in your hand, it's super bricky, right?
100%.
So yeah, most of the time, your Magician's Rod will be searching Soul Servant unless you already have it. If you already have Soul Servant, you'll probably grab Circle, because Circle plus Soul Servant will grab you Salvation, right?
Yep.
These 2 will grab you this guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, some people like Team Samurai X1 like to run 3 of these and say, oh, it's like Pot of Duality for Dark Magician. It's not Pot of Duality. You look at 3 cards, you don't excavate, and most of the time you're not going to add anything to your hand, so what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not...
If Circle hit every game, we'd play at a 3. If we could run an entire deck of Dark Magician spells and traps, we would. We would. We honestly would. People hit me up and say, oh, your circles don't resolve because you don't play enough Dark Magician spell traps. No, bro, my circles don't resolve because I don't play shit cards. If you're playing any Dark Magician spells and traps that aren't what you see here and Eternal Soul, ask yourself, what are you doing? 1 Secrets, 1 Salvation, 1 to 2 Circle, 3 Soul Servant, 2 to 1 Eternal Soul. That is all you need. Every other card we have is essentially a massive freaking brick. Do not play them. You could get away with the Bonds package and Dark Burning Magic. I wouldn't castrate you for that. That is okay. It's pretty good. It's good on Master Duel at least. In TCG, it's a little worse, but hey, it's a nice blowout thing you could do if you wanted. So anyway, with all the other Dark Magician cards aside, you don't really want too much else, guys, in your Dark Magician Spell Trap lineup. The other cards are just bricks on their own. They don't do enough, or they're just old, alright? I don't want to hear anyone justifying, like, 1,000 Knives. You could side a Dark Magic attack That's probably about it from everything else there. The rest is kind of trash. I don't want to hear about Twin Burst. I don't want to hear about Curtain. I don't want to hear about Expanded. They can all hop in the bin. Dark Magic Inheritance has this weird disposition where it was nearly going to be good, and we did used to play it with like the Spellbook engine, and this card was basically Rod 2, but for some reason they never gave us an in-arc type spell that goes to the grave. Please understand, when they gave us Dark Magic Inheritance, at this point in the game, all we had was Circle, and I think that's it. We had a bunch of other spells, but they were trash, right? They were like Curtain and shit. Cards you wouldn't play. So the only spells you could banish were like random spells that you were playing just because, you know, they were good in your deck. So then when we finally got a spell that was like kind of I want to say the actual soul of the deck, Soul Servant, like one of the best spells we have, one of the best cards we have, I want to say, besides like Dragoon. I was just shocked that it banished itself to draw, because I was like, well, they've given us Inheritance to search. Surely they'd give us a spell that doesn't banish itself, right? It just kind of contradicts the whole way to play the deck. I don't understand, you know. Konami really just have 7 different people making these cards, and none of them talk to each other beforehand. They're just all completely different, and it sucks. Back to Matt.
Alright, so we already started with traps with Eternal Soul. That was a good start. Now what about the rest of our trap lineup? So, well, here it is. 3 Torrential Tributes. 2 Goes in Match. 3 Skill Drain. And 2 Solemn Strikes. Alright, so let's talk about the logic behind these traps and why I picked them. Alright, so Eternal Soul, obvious, you know, part of the Dark Magician engine. No need explanation for that. Alright. Let's talk about Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tribute is one of the best cards in the game. I mean, I play 3 in my Eldritch deck. It's so great. I wish I could also fit Needle Sealing here, but alas, you know, we're not a full trap deck. Torrential Tribute is great going first or second. You're going first, you set this, you blow up the board on their turn whenever you feel like it. If you have a Dragoon on your field, Dragoon will not be destroyed, because Dragoon cannot be destroyed by card effects. If you have Dragoon Anaconda on your field, this will destroy Anaconda, but not Dragoon. Anaconda is a huge liability. I did lose a game at locals because someone attacked my Anaconda for game. So yeah, you want Torrential Tribute there.
That's a very valid point. Like, obviously you want Anaconda to use it again next turn, but a lot of the time, even if people have bricked, right, or they can't play through Dragoon, they'll just summon something and they'll just hit Anaconda, right? And that sucks. So it is cool that you can just literally be like, nope, Anaconda, go away, you're out of here. The fact that it's a Link 2 with 500 attack really sucks sometimes, but its effect is just way too broken. It could have 0 attack and we'd still play it, so it doesn't really matter. The Hieratic Link 2, it's got 0 attack, it's one of the best Link 2s in the game, I want to say. We are about to look at the extra deck, but he does have a section called Where Timaeus, and I believe it's just going to be him saying Secrets is better than Timaeus, which I think we all know deep down. I know a lot of people love the new Timaeus because it's basically a searchable Eye of Timaeus, but it's really not. It's really a way worse version of Eye of Timaeus, and I don't like Eye of Timaeus either. They're both bad. Like, both Timaeuses, they're bad guys. The fact that Secrets is better than Timaeus, mainly because it's a spell and, you know, it can't be negated by Impermanent Veiler, that just speaks miles to me about, you know, why Timaeus is literally a worse Secrets. Like, to some degree, it's a dragon and it goes on field, so it can help you summon Dragon Knight and whatnot. But, as we mentioned earlier, like, Impermanent Veiler are everywhere, and Gamma. They're everywhere. Ghost Ogre. Most of the time when you fuse with the Timaeus, you're going to be using himself, right? So he literally loses to Ghost Ogre too, which is so stupid. He shouldn't lose to Ghost Ogre, but he does, because normally you're going to want to fuse with him. So it's stupid.
Y'all might be wondering, where the hell is Timaeus? So remember we got a new card from Battle Chaos called Timaeus the United Dragon? Yeah, I remember that card. So where is it? Where did Timaeus go? Why is Timaeus not in this deck? I'll tell you why. Because it's not that good of a card. It's super mediocre. It's a win more type of card. It's a card that you want to have when you already have like your 2-card combo. And this is just like a 3rd card extender to maybe get you like another like nice powerful body on the field. But like when I played this last weekend, I did run Timaeus in exchange for 1 Torrential Tribute. So at locals last weekend, I ran 2 Torrential Tributes and 1 Timaeus, and I regret having 1 Timaeus. In all the games,
I did the exact same. I literally ran Timaeus. Every time I saw it, I was like, get out of my hand. Like, you suck. Even though it's a one-of. Even though it's highly searchable. I didn't want to see it, like, ever.
Games where I opened Timaeus, I lost. Like opening hand, right? There was a game I won against Eldritch where I drew Timaeus later, and at that point I already won. Like Timaeus didn't really bring anything other than just win harder, right? But all the games where I lost, where I opened Timaeus, if I had instead opened Torrential Tribute, I would have won those games. So one of my losses was against a Drytron, where I had like it was very awkward hand. My hand was like double Magician Souls, Timaeus, and like 2 other cards, maybe Soul Servant, whatever. Yeah. So I made Dragoon using 2 souls, but then I just had this Timaeus. Like, what the hell is this Timaeus gonna do? So for Timaeus to do anything, like, I need a fusion target. To get a fusion for a fusion target, I need like a Dark Magician. But like, okay, I can summon a Dark Magician to the field and then put this on the field by itself, right? But then I have to send another card to the graveyard to get Timaeus on the field, and then it's like, you know, but then that Dark Magician Timaeus will fuse into like either Dragoon or I don't know. It was just very awkward. Like, there was no good way for me to use that Timaeus or anything. But if that Tamias had instead been a third Torrential Tribute, I would close. Yeah.
I think that's a good way to describe the Tamias card. It's awkward. It just doesn't quite fit in where it should. You'll see it in your hand with like Magician Souls, as Matt said, and you think in your head it's a Dragon and Dark Magician. That should do it. But then you go, oh, I'd have to move the Dark Magician off the field to summon the Tamias. Well, that doesn't really work, does it? So it is awkward. Tamias should be a 2-card like fusion for Dark Magician. It should. But it needs to send a DM spell trap. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, send Salvation. Well, you're not going to have Salvation every game. You're not going to have Rod every game. I know with Illusion of Chaos that sounds kind of hard to believe. But the point is, you don't always have a good card to send with Tamias. It's not just a discard anything. It's not just to send anything. It is a bit specific. And more to the point, it's still a 3-card combo. And that sucks. 3-card combos in Dark Magician, we've spoken about them so much. The whole deck is a 3-card combo just to achieve 1 banish. Like, there's not much more to say other than it's a very lackluster card. For a card that came out in 2022, you'd expect it to be a little bit better. You know, Konami can afford to be a little bit less restrictive with cards that come out in 2022, but they seem to still put these dumbass restrictions on them. Like, Tamias could have summoned itself for free if you had, like, a Dark Spellcaster that listed Dark Magician. Tamias could have summoned itself for free if you had a Dark Magician spell trap face up on your field, right? Just anything like that would have been a really nice touch instead of having to get rid of a card, because we can't really afford to do that. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I think I'm okay. Alright, we got double Dragoon.
Ever see on the field at a time, for the most part. These can be summoned off Red Anaconda, Red Ice Fusion, and these can also be like, so let's say, for example, did you know that a card like Soul Servant, if you read what it says, place 1 card on top of your deck from your hand, deck, or graveyard that is Dark Magician, or specifically lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Go in its text, right? So if you read the text of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, it says Dark Magician. Therefore, if this Dragoon is like in your graveyard, like let's say your opponent destroyed it, you can literally use Soul Servant to put Dragoon back in your extra deck and summon him again. Like it's just hilarious. A lot of people don't realize that. Also, speaking of Dragoon,
the main reason I do that play is to get a draw 2. So what I do is, yeah, Soul Servant away my first Dragoon back into the extra deck, and then you banish Soul Servant, draw 2. So it's like when I already have Circle, when I already have Eternal Soul, I've already got like everything set up. It's like, what does Soul Servant get you at that point? Not really a lot. It can get you like an extender if you want, like it can get you a Magician Souls or like an Apprentice or whatever. But sometimes you just want to draw 2, right? You're like, I don't want a Dark Magician card. I just want to draw a hand trap or a trap or something. And in that case, you can always send a Dark Magician Fusion to the top of the deck, because the extra deck counts. So you can go Soul Servant, sending any Dark Magician Fusion from the grave to top of the extra deck, or extra deck, doesn't matter where. And then you can banish Soul Servant, draw however many for however many bricks are in your grave. That is a good play, guys, if you need the draws to stay in the game. Do not forget about that play. It's really good.
Because I showed it for my Illusion of Chaos, this Dragoon is a Starlight. This is my Starlight Dragoon. This one is the ultra rare one. I do plan on getting a second Starlight Dragoon. I'm only waiting for the price to drop. But yeah, this thing is beautiful. Like, I have so much maxed out rarities in my deck that I definitely got a lot of people, like, mad respect at local.
That's hot.
By the way, guys, Dragoon can be made by Secrets of Dark Magic Fusion with Saravis as well, or Magical Eyes Fusion. If Saravis and Dark Magician in your graveyard, Magical Eyes will, this can also go into Dragoon. But anyway, Dark Magicians, Dark Magician, Dark Magician Girl, and any Spellcaster. So, this is not a great boss monster, I'm going to be honest. This is, I like to view this more of an extender. Where sometimes, if your hand is kind of bricky, let's say you have Secrets of Dark Magic, Dark Magician Girl in hand, Secrets of Dark Magic can unbrick, get rid of those 2 bricks out of your hand, Dark Magician Girl, put this on the field. Which is not great, but at least they're in the graveyard now, and Soul Servant is live. But also, every time you play a spell trap on, or anyone plays a spell trap on any turn, you get to draw a card off this, right? Free draw, right? And when this is destroyed, you get to activate its effect to summon Dark Magician Girl from the graveyard, deck, or hand to the field. So, it's okay. Like, if you have the ability to make Dragoon, always make Dragoon before making this guy. You don't want to, like, this is like, when I can't make Dragoon yet, go for this guy. Like, it's 2000 beater, it has an okay effect. And the card that you draw, if it's a spell trap, you can set it immediately, and if it's a trap or a quick play spell, you can activate it on the same turn. So, it doesn't come up often, but yeah, this is more of an extender. If you want to be more adventurous with your extra deck, feel free to take this card out of your extra deck. It's not super mandatory, but I do think it's pretty good. Next, Master of Chaos, the new fusion monster that we got from Battle of Chaos. This card is not great. It's okay. It's mediocre. It's not the best. Illusion of Chaos is the best card of that set. Even though this is the titular mascot, the mascot of the set, this is not a great card. So this can be fused with either Dark Magician and a Blackluster Soldier, which we don't really run any in the deck, or Dark Magician and a Chaos monster ritual. So you can fuse these two with Secrets of Dark Magic to make Master of Chaos. Doesn't come up often, but maybe if you're trying to go for an OTK, it can. It has 2 effects. The one that most people focus on is its second effect, which says you can tribute 1 light and 1 dark monster. Hold on, let me see if I can unblur this. You can tribute 1 light and 1 dark monsters. Banish all monsters your opponent controls. So you have a non-targeted banish that just wipes the field. I mean, this card has a third effect, which says this fuses some Card is destroyed by battle or card effect. Target a spell in the graveyard, add to your hand. So that effect is not so good. But the effect that people... Okay, worst case, this monster revives Dragoon. Best effect is not so good. But the effect that people seem to ignore or not talk about much, or like really understand its implications, is the first effect, which says, oh come on, if this card is future summon, you can target one light or one dark monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Huh. So if you summon this card, you get to revive a dark or light monster from your graveyard. What's a dark monster that might be in our graveyard? Oh, Dragoon. So on a future turn, let's say your opponent outs your Dragoon, you can literally revive Dragoon by summoning this guy, right? So not only do you summon a 3k beater, but you get your Dragoon back on the field. Like, worst case, this monster revives Dragoon. Best case, like, it revives Dragoon and it also banishes, like, your opponent's field, I guess. Or maybe worst case, it just banishes your opponent's field. It's a shame that the banish is not a quick effect. If it was, this card would be, like, hella broken. But yeah, it can revive Dragoon, guys. Like, that's reason enough to run this card. And since it can be fusion summoned somewhat easily, like especially with Seeker's Dark Magic, this is an OTK opportunity, right? Like, because like you have some materials, you attack directly. Seeker's Dark Magic, summon this, summon another monster, and then attack, right? It helps your OTK. It's also Dark Magicians can also help you OTK, but this can help you OTK more because it's 3k instead of 28, and it brings back a monster from the graveyard. So yeah, this card is okay. If you want to be adventurous and experiment with your extra deck, feel free to cut this card. It's not mandatory. These two are not mandatory. These two are mandatory. All right. Dark Magician Dragonite, also another card that can be cut.
That is very accurate. Like, you can use Master of Chaos with secrets in the battle phase after you've already attacked with stuff, obviously, and then fuse it away and attack again, which is great. The problem is, that's a turn 3 play for our deck, right? That's what's strange to me. Like, that's a turn 3 play, or you're forced to play second play. So I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. Like, I do like to just tunnel vision Dragoon, and while some people think that's stupid, Dragoon's effect when playing from second wins you the game a lot of the time anyway, because it has 2 pops, and those pops burn. And while those pops are burning, you then get to attack with it too. So a lot of the time, summoning Dragoon playing from a second or a turn 3 perspective, well, like, you're just winning anyway. So I guess that's my biggest gripe with Master of Chaos. Yeah, Master of Chaos can bring Dragoon back, that's for sure, but the Dragoon has no pops. Hey, 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 hey. That was an epic judge moment. Anyway, it is absolutely true that Master of Chaos could bring something back and help you achieve an OTK along with Secrets. And you know what? After playing a lot of Master Duel, I am feeling a lot more love for Secrets. Only at 1 still, but I do agree that it is, like, within Dark Magician, it can do some cool shit. I will say that. I will say that. Is it situational? Yes. Is it a brick some of the time? Yes. But it can really help. So yeah, I do shit on Secrets a lot, but I'm just going to say right here and now, it's not as bad as I probably make it out to be. It's just because Red Eyes Fusion's so good by comparison that it is hard to measure up, you know? And I guess in some ways, I just wish Secrets did what Ref did, but I know that will never be a thing. Maybe later down the line, Konami will actually give us a good fusion spell, but and some people say, well, they can't because then that makes Secrets redundant. It's like, well, that's called, like, dex getting an upgrade or power creep. Like, it happens, guys. Like, we don't play Skilled Dark Magician anymore. We don't play Robe. Like, in fact, I don't think we ever played Robe, but the point is, archetypes need to get better cards so they can maybe sub out some of the old ones or play them at a lower ratio while we play the new card. And yeah, while a new Dark Magician fusion spell that's very similar to Ref, like a DM fusion style thing that sends from deck, while that would be very oppressive and you'd play it at 3, it would also make Circle more important. It would make Rod Search super important to resolve. Like, it would actually add another layer to our deck and maybe validate playing, you know, Circle at a higher ratio, which is something that I've wanted to do for a while. It just doesn't seem possible, guys. Circle, all the cards Circle adds are low impact cards anyway. Or, you know, you want to see it with Soul Servant so you can get exactly what you want. So if we actually had access to a DM-style fusion spell, not only does this open up the main deck to playing more Dark Magician cards, it opens up the extra deck to playing more fusions. Like Matt is here, we've got the Dark Magicians, Master of Chaos, and Dark Magician the Dragonite. Now, these are all good fusions. I want to point this out. I always shit on these cards, right? But these are actually good cards. But you know why they're bad? Because we cannot summon them efficiently or effectively. When I say that, I mean, you know, the main way to summon these bad boys is normally Secrets plus freaking, like, you know, 1 to 2 cards, because that's how a fusion spell works. So unfortunately, you're normally losing 3 cards to bring out any of these, and that's normally not efficient in a deck where we're trying to play control, like, and then we just spend 3 cards to summon this. If this doesn't win you the game for 3 cards, why are you summoning it? Like, Dragoon will win you the game, and you can summon him in 1 or 2 cards, so probably just do that. So yeah, it does come down to Dark Magician having flaws. Who would have guessed? Our fusion spell sucks. We do need a way to summon these three fusions more efficiently. They are nowhere near as good as Dragoon. I think no one would argue that. Maybe Dark Magician the Dragonite with Circle Eternal Souls arguably better, but that's a convo for another day. Anyway, the point is these cards are good. I'm not saying they're bad. What is bad about them is we cannot summon them properly, okay? We cannot just get them on the field for less than 3 resources, and that is stupid. That is dumb. It's really dumb, guys. If we are spending 3 cards to summon one of these, they should not necessarily win you the game, but they should put enough pressure on the opponent to make them shit their pants and activate a bunch of cards, activate a bunch of negates. Like, Secret should be wanting to get negated. That's how strong our fusion spell needs to be to validate like these cards, you know? For example, when invoked, activate invocation, that's the shit pants moment, right? That's the bit where you go, oh crap, here comes Mecha Ball, here comes Purgatrio, here comes whichever one. That's where you need to chain your Lancia and be like, no, stop summoning, please. You know, when someone plays Fusion Destiny after doing their whole combo, that's another point where Yu-Gi-Oh! Players shit their pants and go, oh crap, I can't even negate this anymore, they have like Appaloosa on board. Like, so then you're forced to deal with a Fusion Monster plus, you know, whatever else board they have. And that's what we need with the DM Fusion. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be that generic, but it does have to say like, hey, maybe if you only summon cards that list Dark Magician this turn, like you can play this card and send from deck, like something as simple as that. Just make these cards good, Konami. Konami, these cards, they're pretty good, but for the level of good that they are, we need a way to summon them that takes 1 to 2 cards. Like, we cannot summon these with 3 cards. It's bullshit. We're not fusing like we did in the anime in 2002, alright? We're not playing Poly, we're not playing Secrets. Give us a freaking good fusion card, okay? No, Tamias doesn't count. Keeper of Dragon Magic doesn't count. I have Tamias can get in. They can all get in the bin. Give us a good card.
From deck, it's not mandatory. It's hard to make, right? Especially since I'm not running Tamias. With Tamias, it's easier to make this because it's a Dark Magician with a Dragon. However, if you have Dark Magician Dragon, why not make Dragoon, right? Like, very seldom will you want to make this and not Dragoon if you have the opportunity. But you can make this card with Dark Magician Cerebus, Secret's Dark Magic, and with Imduk, which is coming up soon. And this monster becomes Dark Magician by name, so it can be revived with Eternal Soul. And the cool part is, like, Eternal Soul protects all Dark Magicians from your opponent's card effects, and this card protects all your backer from targeting and destruction effects. So this protects this, and this can revive this from the graveyard. And this will also trigger Dark Magical Circle. So yeah, this is great. Like, this is a good card. It's just really, really hard and annoying to summon, right? Most of the time you can...
Another hot take, all the fusions should identify as Dark Magician, especially the Dark Magicians. It's literally Dark Magician and Dark Magician Go. Why is it not identifying as both of them? Why is it not both of them? It's stupid. Konami, you suck.
Somebody can also summon Dragoon, you might as well summon Dragoon. Once the new Despia cards come out, like, or Branded Fusion or whatever, Branded Fusion is a 1-card Dark Magician Dragonite. It's also a 1-card Dragoon, but I'm just saying, like, we will soon have the ability to make this with 1 card. So, yeah, this is not mandatory. If you're playing against an Evoke player who uses Maximus, this can be a good card to send to your graveyard because it's a Dark Magician in the graveyard, so Soul Servant becomes live. But yeah, these are 3 experimental slots. Feel free to cut any of these 3 if you want to experiment, but absolutely keep Dragoon. Alright, next fusion. Quintet Magician, the big boy. Fusion of 5 spellcaster monsters. Most of the time you'll be summoning this guy with Magical Ice Fusion because it's hard to get 5 spellcasters like on the field or whatever hand. But yeah, graveyard is very easy. So he says if you summon this using 5 spellcaster monsters with unique names, destroy all cards your opponent control. Front row, back row, destroy everything. So pretty cool. This is like a 4500 beat stick. This is for you bring this guy out if you don't have Dragoons anymore or you just want to like finish them off. Another cool little aspect. He cannot be destroyed by card effects, I believe. Yeah, cannot be tributed. So you cannot kaiju this monster. Cannot be used as fusion material, so you cannot super poly, and cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it has decent protection. You can also cut this. It's not mandatory, but it is very good. It does come up sometimes. And the final fusion we're running is Guardian Chimera. What's Guardian Chimera? What is that? So Guardian Chimera also came out in Battle of Chaos. It is a fusion between 3 monsters with different names. So the caveat of this monster is it's a 3300 attack monster. It's dark. It's a beast. So you must summon this using a combination of cards from the field and your hand. So this cannot be a super poly target, unfortunately. So when you fuse this, first you draw cards. When it's this fusion summon, you draw cards from your deck equal to the number of cards used from your hand as fusion materials. So you'll never neg unless this card gets negated. And if you do get that draw off, then you get to destroy, like pop cards your opponent's controls equal to the number of cards used as fusion material on the field. So at locals, I did use this guy against Eldritch, because this lets me pop 2. So the way I did was, let me see if I can reproduce the board state a little bit. So I had a Dark Magician, I had a Dark Magician hand, Guardian Chimera. This was more of an experiment. I didn't know how this was going to go. Like, when I was playtesting online, leading up to the release of Battle of Chaos, I did not playtest very much with Guardian Chimera, because it's technically not a Dark Magician card, so it kind of flew under my radar for a long time. And then when people started hyping it up and talking about how, like, this might be one of the chase cards, or, like, one of the polls that people are more interested in, I started thinking, you know what? That's an interesting card. It's a dark monster, it's a 3300 beater, 3 monsters with different names, can easily be summoned, right? I don't know, I figured I'd try this out, and so far, the one time I used it at locals, I was happy. Like, this card was great. And if you're against a deck that has a lot of back row, This can help you break some of their back row. It can also break their front row, right? Like it's a really good card. But I would say not mandatory to the deck.
It's interesting that a card that needs 3 cards to fuse and secrets, so 4 cards, is just like better value than the Dark Magician card. Or not necessarily, but Matt just said he summoned it and he was happy. I feel like that's a reaction I don't have when I summon the Dark Magician fusions. I'm not saying they're all bad, but a lot of the time you invest 3 resources into like Master of Chaos or the Dark Magicians or Dark Magician Dragon Knight. And when they get outed, you just feel like an idiot, right? You're like, I just spent 3 cards to get there, and now I've been punished. Like, this freaking sucks.
These are Link ones. Link Spider and Imduck are used to send Dark Magicians to the graveyard, right? So Link Spider needs a normal monster. Imduck also needs a normal monster. Guess what? Dark Magician is a normal monster. So there's a combo, which you can see later in this video, that shows how Imduck helps you get to a Dragoon as a part of a 2-card combo, and can also get you to a second Dragoon as part of a 3-card combo. So yeah, do not underestimate Imduck. It's very good. This card came out in Battle Chaos. It's the best of the Charmer Link monsters in the game. Why? Because it's a dark and it revives dark monsters. Dark monsters are some of the strongest monsters in the game. You can do so much with Dark to Dark Charmer. And then another thing that people don't realize about Celine.
Personally, I would have summoned back Dark Magician. I know he's just doing an example, but I would have summoned back Dark Magician there and just shown that you can link it into Link Spider or Imduck before you make access code, just to be like, look guys, you can get that extra tribute engraved, because Link Spider's Earth, Imduck's Wind, Celine's Light, so you've already got like 2 options for pops, and that's pretty good. If you have Anaconda already in the bin, you got a Dark as well, which is great. But yeah, not a biggie, but anyway.
Oh man, this is why like other Dark Magician deck profiles are so bad. They either don't have Celine, or they don't even, they just have it because they have access code, but they don't actually explain how else can you use her outside of access code. Use Celine, revive Dragoon. Yes, he comes back in defense mode. Yes, he doesn't get to pop 2 cards, but he status the negate, and then on the next opportunity, to go into attack mode, and then they're done, right? Like, it revives Dragoon. Like, people don't realize this. Please realize this. You can revive Dragoon. I know a lot of decks like to have Celine so they can link line access code, but there's other applications like I just showed. Yeah, this is a mandatory card. All the links so far are mandatory. Like, none of these are optional, okay? And then the final link, of course.
And access code, that makes the entire deck. Wow, that was a long video. I hope you guys tuned in for all of that, and I'm going to continue to watch the rest of this now, but I'm going to sign off from here. What a great deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm giving this a solid freaking 10 out of 10. Go check out Matt's profile, please. Please, if you are a Dark Magician player who's serious about wanting to get good at the deck, you will go and watch this whole 3-hour video. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't say, I'm busy, I'm working, I have uni work. I don't give a shit, buddy. If you want to be good at the deck, go and listen to this 3-hour video. Put it on in the background while you have to do your washing up and all that shit. Just listen to the video. You will learn so much. Anyway, thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe and go check out all the guys in the description if you want to be pro at Dark Magician. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And hey, how come some of y'all aren't subscribed, huh? I see y'all watching but not subscribing. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free and it does motivate me to make more videos for you all about our favorite guy, the Dark Magician, and all his companions. Have yourself a beautiful night, and I'll catch you all very soon. Bye-bye.